Good afternoon, Monarchs. It's a beautiful afternoon, and I'm Miss Chavez, your College and Career Readiness Counselor here at Manzano, and I have with me Miss Sydney O'Connell, and she's with us live from Durango, Colorado at Fort Lewis College, and she's going to talk to us about her school, what it's like there. Students are back on campus, so that's exciting, and she's going to share some slides with you. So I'm going to let her take it away. Thank you for being here with us, Sydney.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm going to be open. I'm very nervous right now. This is the coolest virtual visit I've ever done, but I'm nervous. But hi, everyone. I'm Sydney O'Connell. As Ms. Chavez said, I'm a senior admission counselor at Fort Lewis. I've been here about 2.5 years, and I absolutely love it. And I'm going to share with you some slides and information about Fort Lewis. So just jumping off point, here at Fort Lewis, we like to say we're powered by place, and we say that because our students learn from their surroundings. We have 14,000-foot mountains north of us. We have the Red Rock Arches of Utah to the west of us. We have deserts of New Mexico and Arizona to the south of us. And we want our students to get out of the classroom and into the field. So we'll have archaeological dig sites down in Disappointment Valley where students go and do research, archaeological ones. We have 18 beehives that live on campus that students actually went out into the Durango wild to collect. So we really want you to get out of the classroom and into the field here in Durango. If we could jump ahead. Perfect. We are a smaller institution. We're about 3,300 students, and we're represented by 47 different states and over 170 Native American tribes and Alaska Native villages. Our students literally come from all over. I always recommend if you go for a roommate, go random, because you may be from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and maybe your roommate's from Texas or California, and you all can vacation each other's houses for free. It's a perfect setup. We are 53% students of color, and we have 4 affinity centers on campus that support them. So El Centro de Muchos Colores, our Hispanic Resource Center, the Native American Center, the Black Student Union, and the Gender and Sexuality Resource Center. All 4 of those centers have actual spaces on campus where students can meet. You can go and hang out. You can have tutoring there. Professors hold office hours there. There's free lunch there on Fridays. They're really there to support you academically, socially, and culturally. And this photo right here is a couple students hanging out at our Native American Center. And now looking at who we are as a school, our average class size is 23. So we're a smaller institution with small class sizes. My favorite fact is that 79% of your classes are smaller than 30. So really most of your classes are in a classroom. You're getting to know a professor, they're getting to know you. If you sleep through an 8 a.m., they're gonna text you and ask where you are. And it's probably gonna be an awesome powder day, so you'll just let them know you went skiing and you'll show up tomorrow. But it's a great place to really get to know professors. All of our classes are taught by faculty members. There's no teaching assistants or graduate assistants teaching classes. It's all a professor. What's great about that is you're getting to know them and they want to help you do research. They want to help you find an internship. And they really know you. You're not a number at Fort Lewis. You sincerely are a name to them. At the fort, we have over 50 areas of study, and they range from accounting to philosophy, physics, to engineering, kind of all across the board. I'm going to talk to you today about our 5 most popular programs on campus. We call them our signature programs. So we'll start with that engineering and physics department. So engineering is one of our largest departments on campus. It has about 300 students in it, and we have 11 different graduate labs students have access to their sophomore year. Something special about that program is we have something called a design sequence. So starting your sophomore year, every semester you're going to get assigned a project. For example, our sophomores last year worked on underwater robots. You're in a group of about 5 students. You have to design it, you have to build it, and you have to present this underwater robot. And right now we have 5 underwater robots at Lake Nighthorse roaming the ground. So really cool. Every year you get to do something like that. In your senior year, when you get an assignment, you're actually working with a partner who has a company in town. So a company in Durango has contacted Fort Lewis, said they need some help with an engineering project, and our students actually take that on. So really cool. Additionally, entrepreneurship and business are huge programs at Fort Lewis. I'm sure everyone's heard of the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory. And so how our partnership with them works is that actually every year, a student class, about 20 students, in their senior year get to compete against each other to win their own franchise of the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory. So everyone learns about franchising, they learn about that business, they get actual financial records from Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory. They design a plan on what they would do with that chocolate factory if they were to win it. They present it to the board of the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory, and then one winner actually gets their own franchise. You heard that correct. They hand you the keys to a business that's already started, and it's yours. So definitely something to think about if you're interested in that entrepreneurship, that business side of things. Moving forward, health sciences. We're going to stay on that slide. Health sciences is a pretty large program for us. Exercise physiology, to note, and public health are pretty big ones. So that's looking at humans and how they relate to this world. So public health is looking at health on a population level. So right now they love talking about COVID because it's affecting a whole population. Exercise physiology looks at an individual person. And so they're looking to see how they can support them. If you're interested in physical therapy, that's going to be a great program to go into, occupational therapy. And we're about to get a new building for that. So we're breaking ground next week, October 9th. And so by the time any of my seniors, juniors are going to get to Fort Lewis, you'll be able to have that brand new building. And then the last programs I want to talk about are anthropology, biology, geology. We call them place-based. It's because Fort Lewis, what makes them special is our location. You're really going to be out in the wild. There's a geology class you take your sophomore year where you don't have a classroom aside. You're literally in Animus Mountain, on Smelter Mountain, in Animus River, collecting rocks that way and doing research. So like I said, most of our programs, we want to get you out of the classroom. So those are some great examples of what our students are doing in those 5 signature programs. And we will jump ahead right now. Perfect. So as I keep mentioning, our students do learn in classroom. They learn in a pretty small size classroom, but we also have experiential learning. So internships, field studies, service learning, public performance, studying abroad. We'll go over a couple of examples. So for every student, you will do a senior research project. You'll do it your senior year at Fort Lewis, and it'll take a whole year for you to collect data and present it at the end of the year. Some examples of what our students have done for those research projects. I had a student in my office. She was a student ambassador, Morgan. She did a project on gerrymandering. She looked at its effects on the last election, and through her political science department, she created this whole project. At the end of the project, she applied to be at a conference in Washington, D.C. and present there. And that's what she did. Fort Lewis paid to fly her out there, to have her stay in a hotel, to go and present at that conference. And it was really awesome. It was the first time Morgan had ever done any of those things alone. And she got to go out there and present what she'd studied at Fort Lewis, what she'd researched on a national level. You absolutely would be able to do that. Those beehives I mentioned, the 18 beehives we have on campus, students actually use to do research on. So there's a little mucus or there's a little mite that grows on bees. And so our biochemistry students are pulling that mite off, learning all about it, learning why it grows on bees and all of that stuff. So there's definitely a ton of research to be done on campus, and we're going to fund you and support you to do it. Additionally, we have field studies. So what you're doing is off campus. You'll go, for example, psychology does a field study where they're 6 weeks at a mental health facility or a hospital working with stroke patients. This past year, they were up in Pueblo, Colorado. They were working in a correctional facility. They spent 4 weeks there over the summer working at group counseling sessions, shadowing, learning, and even doing their own counseling sessions. Another one is that archaeology field study I mentioned that was down in Disappointment Valley. They found an arrowhead that was 14,000 years old this year. So you definitely can get involved. You can get that real world experience and that job experience. We want you to graduate from Fort Lewis not with just a BA in anthropology, but we want you to have a BA in anthropology and all these different experiential experiences, field studies, internships, any of that. An example of internships, our music business students will go down to Santa Fe and work at the Santa Fe Opera House. They'll do the behind the scenes. Additionally, if you're an exercise physiology student, you'll go up to Colorado Springs and intern at the Olympic Training Center. We want you to learn in Durango as well as throughout the world. All right, next slide, please. So although Fort Lewis has awesome academic opportunities, we also have opportunities that are outside the classroom for fun. So we have 60 plus clubs and organizations, everything from an A1 gaming club where they play video games on Saturdays, a social dance club, that beekeeping society I mentioned. There's a club for everyone on campus. And if there's not one for you, you can grab a couple of friends and start your own. My favorite example of this is we had a sophomore named Taylor, and Taylor got to Fort Lewis, and she was a professional skydiver. She'd done over 100 dives in her life. When she got to the fort, she was like, "You all don't have a skydiving club?" And we were like, 2 years later, we actually started one. And so you take an accelerated course to learn how to skydive every other Tuesday, and then you go out to Moab Desert, about 2.5 hours west of us in Utah, and you skydive out there at the end of the semester. So I'm sure everyone's super excited about that. Who would do it? Just raise my hand, I would. But definitely a club for everyone on campus. We also have 50 plus events on campus. One of our favorite events happened last week. It was called Fiesta on the Mesa. It kicked off our Hispanic Cultural Month. And traditionally we have dancing, free dinner, tons of speeches, and it's a really exciting event. This year, because of COVID, we had a drive-through Fiesta on the Mesa. So everyone decorated their cars, still stayed for speeches and dinner, but less dancing than normal. We also have 14 different NCAA Division II sports. So we have the traditional sports: soccer, football, basketball, cross country, track, volleyball, women's lacrosse, kind of those 14 traditional sports. If you are interested in playing a sport, the best way to do is to contact a coach. Starting your junior year, you can start making contact with a coach, visiting campus, doing official visits. At the Division II level, the most important thing to recommend or to do is to contact coaches. It's all about self-advocacy. If you don't want to do a Division II sport, 16 different club sports that still travel throughout Colorado, they're still competitive, but you don't necessarily you're not a Division II athlete, so it's not as much of a job. And then if you don't even want to leave campus, we have 22 different intramural sports that are everything from ultimate frisbee to basketball, disc golf, tennis, any of that good stuff that you're just on campus for. Every time you compete in an intramural sport, every time you work out at our Student Life Center, you get a couple of points put on your student ID, and that turns into Fort Lewis swag. So t-shirts and hats and shorts and socks. We really do want you to be an active member of our community, so we're going to bribe you to do it. Perfect. So awesome. This is the perfect time to talk for my seniors in the room. They can start listening again. Anyone else, you can certainly listen in. So applying to Fort Lewis. We do have our own application, and you can apply at fortlewis.edu/apply. It takes about 15 minutes to fill out that application. And then your official high school transcripts will need. So have your counselor send those in. Test scores are completely optional, so you can submit an ACT or an SAT if you've taken one. If you haven't, no worries. If you have taken one and don't want to turn it in, that's fine too. I will waive your fee for all of our students, so the code is going to be FLC apply. And anyone who registers for an event will get that code as well, and I'll make sure to give it to Ms. Chavez to pass out for anyone else who hasn't seen it. After you apply, it takes about 4 to 6 weeks to get an admission decision. So if you apply today and I don't get your transcripts until November 1st, it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks after I get your transcripts. Perfect. Moving forward. Awesome. So the best scholarship I can talk about for my New Mexico residents, which is all of you on the call, is our New Mexico Reciprocal Scholarship. If you have at least a 3.0 GPA, you will qualify. And how it works is you will pay in-state tuition at Fort Lewis College. So that $10,656 amount will waive the out-of-state fee, and you're paying in-state. You'll have that for all 4 years as long as you maintain a 2.0 GPA. All right, jumping ahead. And then other ways to save. We do have a Native American tuition waiver. So if you are from a federally recognized tribe, you go to Fort Lewis College tuition free. If you have any questions about that, you can certainly contact me, and I'll explain to you how you can qualify for it. Then there's FAFSA, which I'm sure Ms. Chavez is talking to you about, but it's a free application for federal student aid. It opens October 1st, so this Thursday, I believe, and you'll be able to fill it out using your legal guardian's tax information from 2 years prior. I always recommend students fill it out, regardless of if you think you're going to qualify for it or not. It's definitely a good way to see what you could be offered. After you apply to Fort Lewis and are accepted, once you have your FAFSA in, it takes about 3 weeks to get you a financial aid package. So apply early, fill out the FAFSA early, and you'll know kind of what you're looking at financial-wise by January. Another scholarship I want to point out is our foundation scholarship. These ones you actually do apply for. They open December 1st and they close February 1st. So once you apply, get accepted, you're able to apply for these foundation scholarships. They're one application and they connect you with over 150 applications on campus, 150 scholarships on campus. So definitely apply for them. You'll apply your senior year of high school, freshman, sophomore, and junior year while at Fort Lewis. Cool, and let's jump ahead. So now this boring slide, the cost slide, super important, but it's my least favorite slide to go over. Tuition for a year for an out-of-state student is about $17,700. If you are qualifying for the New Mexico reciprocal, it lowers tuition down to about $7,000, that in-state amount. If you're looking to go out of state, in particular Colorado, this scholarship is going to be super crucial in allowing you to be able to move out of state. That next line, student fees. I always tell a student nothing is ever free on a college campus. It's always included. So go to the gym, join everything, rent everything, use tutoring, use our counseling center. It's all included in your student fees. That next line, room and board. Our first year students, our freshmen, are required to live on campus. This is the cost for our suite style and our middle meal plan. Suite style is you and your roommate sharing a bathroom with another set of roommates. But we also have traditional style available. So that's you and your roommate, bathroom down the hall, shared common style with everyone in your hall. And that's going to be about $2,000 less than this cost. So definitely something to think about with those room and board costs. Our next line, that books, transportation, miscellaneous, that $4,800 to $5,116 amount. That's a number the state of Colorado gives us to remind you that you have to drive to and from campus, you have to buy books, you have to buy shampoo and conditioner and a comforter. I like to call them life costs. So that's why you need to think about those in addition to direct costs. However, you don't owe that number to Fort Lewis. You don't owe it to anyone. It can be as big or as large as you want it to be. It's just up to you and your family and how much you spend on driving to and from campus, how much you spend on all those decorating your room things. Cool. Let's move forward. And then finally, Durango. So we are a smaller mountain town. We're about 18,000 people in Durango proper. So I know a heck of a lot smaller than Albuquerque, but we're a mountain town. So it's absolutely stunning here. We have over 300 miles of hiking and biking trails within 30 minutes. So you absolutely can go hiking. You can go biking. We have 4 lakes within 30 minutes. So if you want to go kayaking or stand-up paddleboarding, you can do all of those things. We have something on campus called Outdoor Pursuit, which is our outdoor recreational office, where you can rent any skis, snowboards, stand-up paddleboards, hiking equipment, camping equipment, really anything you could imagine to be in the outdoors. You can rent that for free as a student. Additionally, all of our first-year students get a free ski pass to Purgatory Ski Resort. So if you ski or snowboard right now, your first season's pass is going to be on us. If you don't ski or snowboard right now, remember that you can rent any of that equipment. You can go up to the mountain and fall on your butt free of charge a couple of times. It's going to be a ton of fun. We also have free city bus service for all of our students, so you are not required to bring a car to campus. It's very clean and very safe, that bus service in Durango, and it takes you from the south to the north end of town, so you really do not need a car on campus. We average about 70 inches of snowfall right here in town, about 200 to 300 of the mountains. So if you're from a state like New Mexico that doesn't get a ton of snow, I would highly recommend that free bus service in the winter. You don't have to drive around even if you did bring a car to campus. And then we average over 300 days of sunshine. So even when it is snowing, it's still blue skies and sunny, which is one of the main reasons that I love Durango, because there's tons of outdoor activities to do. It's beautiful weather, but we also have some other activities going on. Maybe if you don't want to go skiing or snowboarding or hiking, we have the Durango Independent Film Festival, which is a week long, and people from Denver and Albuquerque and all over bring their films. We have the Food Festival, which happens over the summer. All the restaurants shut down Main Street and have their own tents there. And we even have something called Snowdown, which is our snow celebration, a week-long event the first weekend of February, where everyone goes and there's tons of events, and you get to participate. So definitely tons of stuff to do in Durango. Perfect. And so this is my final slide, all about the questions. But moreover, I did want to let you know that please fill out our link so you can get more information, and all will absolutely be contacting you with a fee waiver if you forgot it. Any other questions? I'm going to be reaching out to all of you.
Thank you, Sydney. That sounds fantastic and like an adventure to go to your school.
Absolutely. It's one of our majors called adventure education. So you'll learn how to teach others how to have an adventure. So.
I mean, the chocolate factory, the skydiving, I was sold. So the link for her form is in the description of this video. And we should be showing this video to our avid seniors as well. And so once again, Sydney's very responsive over email. You could probably call her up and ask her specific questions that you have pertaining to your individual situation, and she will get back to you. Super down to earth, and she sends me coffee every year. So I love her for that. Thank you. I used to get chocolate too, but then, the pandemic happened. But anyway, thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, that was awesome. And this was so exciting.
Yes, so fun.
Well, this is way cooler than a Zoom call.
Yes, way cooler. Thank you.
Awesome.
I hope you have a great day and you hear from our students soon.
All right. Thanks, Ms. Chavez. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.